Good morning, Mick. Hello. How is everybody? Happy Friday. Sorry, I was just making sure my stream was running smoothly, but my bit rate seems to be very off. Don't know what's going on here. It's like it's taking its time kind of getting settled in. I don't know why that is, but I'm just trying to refresh it so that hopefully it yeah, seeing it showing it as offline even though I am online. Hold on, folks. I'm just trying to. I don't know. Something's not right. Anyway, well, we're just gonna go with it. We'll sort it out. Hopefully, it sorts itself out here um, as time goes on. Good morning, everybody. I am your host and pilot. Welcome. A little kind of go thrown off the game here because this worries me when I don't see that. There we go. Now my bit rate is fine. It was taking forever to catch up, it seems. All right. Well, there we go. Finally, we're in business. All right. So good morning, everybody. Welcome. I'm your host and pilot, Uncle B. Welcome to today's Microsoft Flight Simulator live stream. The last Friday of March, the last day of March. Yay. We're on to April. So anyway. Um, Today we are going from Dublin, Ireland, down to Fiumicino. I'm probably butchering that name. We're going basically to Rome, Italy. We're kind of about halfway down on the west coast of Italy, a little bit inland. Actually, no. This is right on the coast of Italy. Downtown Rome is right here. The Vatican and everything. So but this is where we're heading to today. Oh, I got to double check my. Oh, there we are. We are on the Southeast Asia server. If you want to fly along, I have. Here is the route. This is just your airport information, your departure routes, your departure route, and the arrival and the approach. Everything else should be plugged in automatically for you along the way, um, or you can uh, sort it out on your own. We are on the Southeast Asia server, as usual. There we go. Yeah, about a two and a half. I want to. It says 2 hours and 42 minutes to cover just under 1,100 nautical miles, but I think we're gonna probably do it in about two and a half ish. So, live weather. It's raining there in Dublin right now. I think there's rain heading to the UK. Once we take off, we're going to head down along the lower east coast of Ireland. We're going to cut across the southwest part of the UK, cross the Channel, cross mainland Europe, on down, cross over the Alps there, keep on going, and then we'll be turning in uh, here, just north of Rome itself. All right. Take care, Daniel. Appreciate it. And then we'll cut out towards the coast, and then we'll be on the ground. So should be a nice flight despite the weather. Hopefully, the weather in Italy is a little bit better. We'll know more once we get there. Once we're closer. Plane should be already filled up enough with fuel to get us there and then some. Got a little extra just to be on the safe side. Uh, and then, so yeah, there we go. Let's see what else. Yeah, we're gonna do that. And tomorrow, I will be playing the game called Division 2. For I don't know how long. Probably a few hours, maybe give or take. And mainly, I'm doing it. It's not to show how great of a player I am. I'm not by any stretch. Okay, do not think that just because I have a high number means that I know everything about the game. I do not. I'm not that, you know, it's I'm basically doing it to kind of give some folks who are thinking about going back to the game after a long absence some things that they need to be aware of. That it took me. I struggled with some of the changes that had been made, so I didn't know all the particulars. So if um, if uh, if you're interested in the game, hopefully it gives you some idea. I'm going to try not to spoil anything. Also a disclaimer, and I'll say it again tomorrow. I'm probably going to swear quite a bit during the game because that's my swearing game. How did that happen? I just exited out the screen. Huh, okay. So yeah, don't. That's my swearing game. So if I swear, please don't get all fussy about me with it. I'm just giving you a heads up now, and I'll give you a heads up again. I've been known to, Morning Joseph, to drop some F bombs and other words that normally I try not to. So, yeah. So anyway, about 9 more minutes, we'll spawn in. Now the other thing too is we're going to start directly on the runway for departure. The problem being here, there's a couple things about this particular airport that I'm a bit, I find very disheartening. One, there's a runway here that, according to the sim, is still under construction, even though I'm guessing it's been completed some time ago. But we're still showing a runway that is in under construction. So I don't know why they haven't updated this to include this runway and all any other particulars if there's an ILS approach or whatever. That is, I mean, I don't know how long that's been like that. And there's nobody has made a Dublin airport, at least not for sale on the Xbox side, that includes the runway, the taxiway, and all that other stuff. So, but there's no, if you start here at the gate, there's no pushback vehicles, there's no tugs, there's no nothing. So for an international airport, this is kind of this is a bit disappointing for, especially for a place as well known as Dublin, Ireland. This is I find this to be completely unacceptable that there's no pushback tugs, there's nothing. So I'm just like, well, I could steer the aircraft there, but I'm not going to. I'd just rather start on the departure runway, and we'll climb out. Like I said, we'll follow this path, and then we have a nice approach in there to our destination there near Rome, Italy. So yeah, this is a real world Ryanair route. Now the other thing too is Ryanair does not operate A320s. Okay, they don't. But this is the only way I could do seem like it would be legit with a Ryanair aircraft, even though it's not the appropriate one. They do use the Boeing 737s for most of their flights. So yeah, this is not the correct aircraft for the flight or for them to be flying to this destination. But because we are still awaiting the PMDG 737s here on the Xbox, this is the best I could do in the interim. So a very lackluster. Yeah, I guess I could say it. It was a lackluster marketplace last night. Um, I don't know. It was a bit disheartening. No updates were released at all for any of the products that I already own. I was a bit surprised by that. That I would have thought that there would have been some stuff that would have been, excuse me, pushed out yesterday, but apparently not. So yeah, a bit. I don't know. It's I don't know why it it is what it is, but yeah, I noticed that there was just no. It was kind of a meh. It wasn't. Now LVFR did put out another version of the A320. It's called the CEO, not Chief Executive Officer. It was the A320 that was released before so there was the CEO is current engine option, which was the first generation A320s. Neo is the next engine option, which is the more well known uh, version of the A320s. So that was the only thing I felt that was worth a few dollars. So yeah. Anyways, so yeah, we're still waiting for things. Hopefully, I was hoping we would get the DC-6 yesterday, but apparently not. Guess we're still waiting on that. I don't know. Anyways, uh, so we will get started here in about 4 minutes. I'll spawn in. We'll get our initial altitude set, and then we'll get in the air and be on our way, and all that. I do have the flight stick ready to go. Once we're ready, we'll get going on that. So, and yeah, and then tomorrow, I don't know how long we're going to play Division 2. It'll probably be I'm going to do kind of go over some things that I think Pulse needs to be aware of, and Mick, whenever you want to get back in the game, I'll put it up on YouTube for so when you're back home you can watch it whenever you want. Um, I think I'll do one mission, maybe one control point, and that'll be it. So I'm not playing the whole game through from beginning to end or anything like that. It's just because that's a very time consuming process, and uh, yeah. So yeah, it should be interesting. Uh, I know it's a violent game, and it that's not something that a lot of people are very keen on, but you know. So all right, a couple more minutes and we'll get started here. Sip some more of my coffee. Ooh, I'm sitting here talking, and yeah, we'll get started here in just a moment, folks. Then we'll be on our way. Let's see, what else is there to talk about? I think that's it. All right, let's go ahead and get in here and get everything ready to go. All right, that's fine, Mick. All right, let's go ahead and do this. We'll get our altimeter set. And also, what else do we need to do? All right, so that's my flaps. That's my throttle. Perfect. And, let's get our flight plan there. And I need to find out what's our initial clearance. All right. There's that. All right. Captain Sickbag. Why does that name sound familiar? The name sounds very familiar. All right. There's that. We should be all set. Speed brakes. They already are armed. Brake off. All right, folks. Here we go. All right, there we are. Oh, what? Am I stalling? What? Well, that seemed rather odd. All right. That's new. All right. Well, we're on our way. Either way. All my lights are off. Why is it not? Going all the way out there. Why is it not following the flight plan? Wow, this thing is not behaving the way I would expect it to. Okay, I engaged the autopilot. Okay. So obviously the button that I used to turn on the autopilot did not work. So I have to actually click the button. Okay. Good to know. Alrighty. Problem sorted. All right, now everything's going the way it should. All right. Should be, there's our picture for today. Bingo, right there. Good morning, Paradox. How are you? Sorry. Oop. That wasn't me, was that? Was that on the... Okay. Ooh, I need to. Oh, gotta go to pressure. There we go. All right. Yeah. Good morning, Paradox. How are you? We've had a bit of a strange one this morning already, but everything's sorted. We're on our way down to Rome. We're in the A320. We don't have the appropriate aircraft. I think, oh, you know what I didn't do? I think we're going to go to 370 for the flight. So yeah, should be a nice flight. Couple hours in the air. I did look. Now this, like I said before, this is a real world Ryanair destination from Dublin down to Rome. Getting up late this morning. Nothing wrong with that. Sometimes it's, that's just how it goes. There is no gate assignment that I could find for this flight number that once they land down there, where do they go? where do they park at? So I can't even like try to come up with something at least a bit more realistic for the flight, as far as, where are we going? Where are we going to park the aircraft? What gate are they, uh, do they get as an assignment, or where do they normally go? Which part of the airport, like which terminal or whatever. Uh, so there's that. Today's flight brought to you by Pair of Socks Airline. Pair of Socks. Just because you have a pair of socks does not mean they have to match. Scruffy did, in fact. Airline CEO Scruffy Tam did show his mismatched socks last night on the stream. All you have to do is ask him nicely, and he'll show you. That's all you're going to see. You're not going to get anything else. You're not going to see anything else. So, yeah. Yeah. This is a Pair of Socks airline route over on FS Hub. Happy to be part of the Pair of Socks Airline Pilot Association. Maybe they didn't have enough gates and used. Oh yeah, you never know. That's possible. They might, or if the weather's really nice, maybe they pull up outside. They bring the stairs out, and a bus to take you to the terminal to get your luggage and all that other good stuff. Yeah, there's no telling. I mean, that'd be a nice way to arrive in Rome. Kind of a classic, coming off the aircraft with the stairs pulled up to the, I want to make sure I didn't hit a wrong button or anything and it caused it to, yeah, we should climb a little bit higher here in a moment, folks. I don't know what. I mean, sometimes having a jetway is nice, but sometimes it'd be nice just to, walk down a flight of stairs and onto a nice, short. There we go. My thing is just slightly out of the climb. There we go. Perfect. Where it's supposed to be. All right, there we go. Try to set my flight stick down since I'm not hand flying this, and I don't think I'd ever want to try to hand fly a Jetliner. No thanks. All right. No, I don't. I think you could do that on the PC side. I just land and then I just go where it tells me to go, unless I know. Like, if I look at the airport layout and I say, okay, gate C32 is over on this side of the airport, wherever they tell me to go, I'll go past that. If I can kind of figure out the layout, or if the layout is correct, because sometimes the gate numbers in Sim are not the way they are in the real world, so they've not updated anything either, which is a bit messed up, I think. I would really wish they would, if they're gonna do all these world updates, that's something that they should focus on is the way to. Okay, there we go. I've tried it and it won't let me. Like it's very particular. Like I've tried it before, but it won't give me like the correct runway based on the weather, for instance, or something. So it's just you know, I've tried it on the world map and it doesn't seem to work, at least on the Xbox. Maybe they've changed it, but generally I'll just go where they tell me to go, you know, unless I know for sure where the gate is and the gate numbers are correct. The terminal uh, designation and all that is correct. So, but it's okay. It's perfectly fine. See, look at this stuttering with the outside the flight deck. All right, that should be our last. We should stay at 370 for the rest of the way. Oh, 8 ads. Yeah, I'm sorry. Look, I know that a lot of people don't want to sit through ads. It's just since I'm an affiliate, I try to get the most ad money I can out of the time we're in the air. They're all should be very short because there should be no more than 3 minutes total of ads, but it might be broken down so that it's like 8 ads for 3 minutes. So I apologize. The money that I get from subs and from ad payments that goes to buying new aircraft for me in the sim. So, um, yeah. Otherwise, that's why I do that. You know, but I try to keep it reasonable. But I can't control how many ads. They may be 3 1-minute ads. It could be 8 ads. I mean, that part I have no control over. But I try to make it where it's nothing too unreasonable. You know, so. Yeah. Thing out of the whack again. Oh, that's fine. We've got a bit of a tailwind, so hopefully that'll help us get there a little bit quicker. Hopefully we have a tailwind most of the way. So yeah, Monday next week we'll be back in the Junkers 52. I got to come up with the plan for that, and then physical therapy Tuesday morning. I don't know how that's gonna go, or how I'm gonna feel. Um, if my arm is okay, I may do a stream on Thursday and another one on Friday. we'll see. Uh, I describe, but that's I understand paradox. It's it's fine. I subs are always appreciated. They're not required. Um, you know, whatever you feel comfortable doing, it's up to you. You know, I know most people are particularly bothered by ads, but that's how I generate enough revenue to be able to buy new aircraft for the sim that I think would, something that I think will be fun for everybody to watch me fly and whatnot. So, yeah. So yeah, Monday Ukers 52. Thursday either we'll fly something. I don't know what yet. If I do fly, that's a tentative thing. Friday we'll be back in another jetliner flight. And so yeah, I just don't know how. I think that first couple of sessions of physical therapy are probably going to be really difficult for me, just until things start to kind of work themselves out. Um, so yeah, it's just we'll see. If I don't fly Thursday, maybe I'll do train sim or something. I don't know. We'll see. But it's going to just depend on how my arm feels. So yeah, let's see what else. So yeah, we know PMDG feels pretty confident that the 737s will be available in the InSim marketplace for the Xbox here before the end of April. Hoping that means the DC6 is either coming around that time frame or within the next week or two. What else? Now see, it's weird. It's still grayed out, saying that the ads. So okay, so the ads are over, but the thing where I can have the option to run 2 minutes of ads is still grayed out. So I don't know why that is. But anyway, maybe it'll sort itself out here after a few more minutes. I don't know. Oh, there it goes. It just came back. All right, I think this is one of those. Yeah, this is one of those large chunks of the flight. Right here, 170, just under 170 nautical miles now to Lugis. Um, yeah. We've let the passengers out of their seats. We can turn the wing lights off. We don't need those on. We'll leave all the other lights on. Is the dome light on? Why does it seem like the dome light's on? Dome light is on. There we go. We don't need the dome light on. Now I have, because I've been using my left arm because I'm right hand dominant. So I've been using my left hand for some things. Yeah, I'm looking forward. I probably the only one I'm going to get will be the 737-800 because that seems to be the one that most all the airlines fly. Um, Now, this is what upset me last night about the marketplace update, and I'm not trying. Don't think that I'm just trying to be negative for the sake of being negative. This is what happens last night, right? Captain Sim, or some people call Captain Scam, releases another 767 and another 777 base plane only for $20 if you want liveries, which there's only like 4 or 5 liveries for $5. Now, I cannot for the life of me understand why Microsoft would allow that kind of BS to be allowed in the marketplace. These are not high fidelity aircraft or anything. It's nothing but a crap cash grab. And I didn't know any better at the beginning. I bought some of the Captain Sim stuff. Would I fly it now? No, absolutely not. I'd rather wait for a quality made product from PMDG for for the 737s. I know they're working on the 777s now. It's just I was like, wait a minute, so you're getting a plane with the Captain Sim livery on it, that quote unquote house livery, for $20, and if you want real world liveries for it from Captain Sim, you're gonna have to pay another $5. Why? In what world, Microsoft, does that make any sense whatsoever? That is just pathetic. I'm sorry. That should not be allowed in your marketplace at all. But that's what we got last night on the Xbox side. Now I did get the A320 CEO from LVFR, because LVFR not only gives you liveries for all the aircraft, right, but goes back in and makes adjustments continuously, releases updates on a regular basis. It's not like you wait 6 months or a year and see no improvements or anything. I'd rather give my money to LVFR in the meantime until we get the stuff from PMDG. So I was just like, they couldn't be. And then, like, there was no other updates for anything that I already owned either. And I'm just like, how? What is going on here? So again, I'm not trying to crap on the Sim. I love it to death, but it's just like stuff like that. I'm just like, in what world does that make sense? Why would you allow that? That just tells people you don't care about your customer base. That's what it speaks to. It's like, oh, we know this is probably going to piss some people off, but you know what? Oh well. You know, that to me is just not. That doesn't make any sense at all. You know. Yeah, you're right. But but see, people will see it and go like, well, $20 for a plane, that's not bad. It's a jetliner, and I can fly it, and you know. But it's why? Why would that even be okay? You know. I mean, it's heartbreaking to see stuff like that. But I'm like, well, for the price of those two planes that come with one livery, which is just a Captain Sim livery, I can get the LVFR A320 CEO, and I feel more comfortable giving LVFR the money because I know they care about their product. They continually improve it, and they release more liveries for free. You know, but yeah. I don't know. It's a bit heartbreaking to see the state of the game come to that point that here we are. We finally get the Wasm thing that we've been waiting on, and we start on the right direction, and then it's like one step forward, 100 steps back. you know, yes, they do. So even so, if Captain Sim is selling that plane for $19.99, and we do pay tax on those now, it used to be that you wouldn't, but all sales through the Xbox you do pay a sales tax of some kind. But I don't know what their percentage is, and I don't know that we would ever know the true amount, what their cut is, because that's between them and the developer. You know. So, yeah, I really don't know what the expected, you know, what they would expect to see for something like that. But yeah, so yeah, whatever they're getting on those sales, that's going, part of that does go into Microsoft's pocket. So I mean, it's almost like Captain Sim is losing, really, on that deal. The fuselage flexed. I did not see that, but it wouldn't surprise me. I mean, I think there is. Well, no, we have a bit of a tailwind, but it's not like exactly tail. It's almost like a crosswind from the rear. Huh. I didn't see that though. Sometimes when you go through, like, if you go through the jet wash, it does kind of give you, it will distort things sometimes. And it maybe that's what it was. I don't know. The tail wags just slightly. Huh. Okay, I see a little bit of a movement. Yeah. I think it's just because of the weather. We are flying in the live weather, so it's maybe that wind that's coming from essentially this direction is causing it. And the plane is just reacting, the autopilot's reacting. Yeah, I think that's all it is. Yeah. Luigi's. Yeah, no, it's not. I think they have done a lot to improve the what you would expect to see from uh, the plane reacting to the weather. The autopilot basically reacting. Because there's no way, like, if I tried to hand fly this right now, I wouldn't be able to look at the chat at all. So, yeah. But yeah, that's my, I try not to rant. I am grateful for what we get, but it does seem like after all the hype of Sim Update 12 and the Wasm fix, that we were finally turning a corner on the Xbox side. And we are, don't get me wrong, we are, but it's just like, now we're back in that holding pattern. We have to be patient. And I think that has been the side title of the Sim on the Xbox. Is, oh, just be patient. It's coming. You just got to be more patient. I think that the Xbox community has been beyond patient for the last couple of years. And it wasn't, nobody expected, nobody could have, if you went back in time and told flight simmers on the PC side back when it first came out 40 something years ago, if you said one day this sim would be on a gaming console, people would have been like, yeah, no, never. Absolutely never. No. I can't see that happening. There would never be a powerful enough console to operate the sim on, and yet here we are. But the Xbox side, the Xbox community, I think, has been beyond patient. We thought the Wasm Fix was coming last year, and then it got delayed. Now we finally have it, but now we have to be patient again while these developers sort out all the stuff and resubmit it to the marketplace. And now they're responsible for all the testing. So the backlog has just been shifted back to the developers, who now have to stop any project. They have to hire people now. They have to shift any products that they were developing to the side to work on stuff and fixes and whatnot. Now that the Wasm thing's out, like DC Designs, they have to test their update for the Concorde to have the correct navigation system in there, which was all supported by Wasm. When Flight Sim 10 was released, the entire dev team was fired. They went on to create P3. I don't know if that's true or not. It wouldn't surprise me. I mean, P3D has been... A lot of people love P3D. They say it's... The realism is... aspect of it is better. The graphics may not be on the same level as this sim is, but many people prefer P3D over Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. But yeah, it wouldn't surprise me, because you have that, and then you have X-Plane. I mean, there's other sims out there, but this is the only one that they've been able to put it on a console for the first time. I don't think they would ever allow, X-Plane or P3D to be on a console. I don't think Microsoft would ever open up the console to something like that. But yeah, I mean, I think they've done a pretty decent job. I mean, I am thankful that I get to do something like this, on a console. I don't have to have a super high-end computer and deal with all the file structure stuff, and whenever there's an update and you have to move this over here and you have to delete this file and save a backup, and this long drawn out process every time there's a sim update. So, but yeah, it feels like for everything that we've gained, every step forward on the console, the mantra still is just be patient. That's it. And I it's hard sometimes to be patient, right? It wears you out, because you're just like, how much more patient do I have to be? At some point, I think people are just like, my patience run thin. I can't support this product anymore. I don't want to even showcase it if I stream. I think there's people who just feel that way, that they're just like, what's the point? So I don't know. It's unfortunate, I'm still hopeful that one day maybe I will get a PC, but I also know that means I have to weigh the stresses of the file structures, and every time there's a sim update, I'm gonna have to spend about a week or two sorting it all out. And well, that part, yes, you're right, Paradox. I'm not trying to say that the PC side doesn't have its own issues. It does, but for the marketplace aspect of it, that's the part I'm talking about. Not the bugs and all that kind of stuff. Yes, that all needs to be addressed, regardless if it's console or PC. It just seems like every time that they they get a handle on it, something else comes up, you know, and that's the other frustrating part. But the file structure, I know, like my friend Mick, it drives him nuts because it's like he has to go through and sort. Well, you have to delete all this stuff. You don't need this, and you don't need that, and you know, and so it wears, you know, it's after a while you're like, what am I doing here? If I'm spending more time sorting out files instead of flying, what's the point? You know. But no, it's the marketplace stuff. That's the frustration. That's where I'm talking about. Yeah, and that's the thing that I've always said is that, you know, like every Thursday, people who what can go to you can go to PMDG right now. If you're on the PC, you can buy the 737, any of them, directly from PMDG. So Microsoft doesn't get a cut of that money. They don't see a dime. If you buy it directly from the developer, Microsoft doesn't get anything out of that. So you can do that. On the Xbox side, we are beholden to the in-sim marketplace. So every Thursday, it's like you're kind of, part of it is I'm sitting on the edge of my seat. I'm trying not to get my hopes up, but then it's like, okay, maybe this time something amazing will be there that I wasn't expecting. And then other times you're just like, that's it? That's all we get? That's it for Thursday? I mean, we wait every Thursday. It's just like this long, drawn out waiting period. And lately, what they've been doing is they'll release. So, like last night at about 7 in the evening, East Coast time, I logged in. The marketplace update was already there. And that was it. I waited. I went back in like an hour later just to see if some other stuff had been pushed in. Nope. That was it. And there was no I double checked. And then by that time, a little after 8 was when they released the roadmap update for the week. The developer, whatever you want to call it. And I'm just like, that's it. That's all we got this week. And it's just like, you know, it's a bit deflating. Yeah, I know, Paradox, and that's the one thing that's keeping me hopeful that at some point I'll get a PC that's powerful enough to run the sim, and you know, that it looks really good without taxing my system. You know, that's the difficult part, is finding a nice set, you know, settings that it's like things look really good and it doesn't like blow up your PC. Yeah, I know who Flockstrot is. I've seen him in Struffy's stream, I think. And I think I've seen him maybe in Captain Arash's, but I know I've seen him in Scruffy's chat before. Yeah, there are some people who run a gaming laptop. You're right. Which is probably a more viable option than a full-blown desktop. But the problem is that with the gaming laptop, you can't. I don't think there's a way, or there would ever be a way where you can swap out the graphics card. I think it's like all built in, and so if you need to update a graphics card, you have to basically buy a whole new laptop, if I remember correct. But no, I am thankful that I have it on the console there, because I don't have to worry about the file structure stuff. So that when there's a sim update, bang, everything just goes right into where it's supposed to go. Whereas PC players, it's like you got to delete, like I see all the stuff whenever there's a sim update. Jane usually posts like a reminder. One of the community managers will say, don't forget, with the update on the PC, you need to do these things in order for the update to take effect. You know. So, you know, that's the difficult part. That's the only thing that I don't know that I would have the patience for it. I know my friend Mick doesn't. I feel bad for him because I know he would like, hey, Infidel Farman, how are you? You know, he would like to be able to fly the sim whenever he wants to, but that sort of stuff just it doesn't work for him. Uh, it's a bit frustrating because it's like trying to sort out. Okay, I have to make sure I move these things. I have to empty this folder if I have, and I don't think he has many add-ons, but he just has to double check and stuff like that. Um, yeah, what's new, Infidel? How are you? How are things going now that you're finally done with school and all that? Congratulations once again on getting your flight orchestrator certification. I mean, really, isn't that what yeah, yeah, mine does. That's the great thing on the Xbox side. All I have to do, I think there's an update usually outside the sim, and then once I start up, then I have to go in the sim, and then I have to select everything that's available for updates that I have installed, and then it goes through and updates everything. Well, I mean, a dispatcher orchestrator. I mean, it's kind of like the same thing, right? You know, if you think about it. You're conducting their routes. You're telling them. Hey, you're going to take off at this date at this time, and this is the way you're going to go, and or whatever. You know, I'm guessing based on weather reports. Yeah, like for me, I think it's just the way, because sometimes I have to do. It's like a double update outside the sim. I have to look to make sure that there's no update out. Like I don't know. It's kind of a weird thing, but it's not that difficult. Yeah, that too. You know, that's another thing that we. I think everybody would have thought that by now the prices, and in some cases the prices have come down, but usually when that happens, the whoever has, uh, they will they'll say, well, we know the prices are going down, but we're gonna raise them just to, like they gouge the prices because they can, because there's they have the supply, but they don't care. They're like, well, it's like when the PS5s and the Xboxes first came out. Uh, okay, nice. Okay, interesting. Didn't know that. What was I gonna say? So yeah, they like when all these people bought up all these PlayStations and Xboxes, right? They're like, well, if you want one, you're gonna have to pay triple the price, right? And now those prices they've basically, because there's more supply, those prices have had to drop because people are gonna, like, there's no way I'm paying you $1,600 for a $500 console. You're out of your mind. But there's people who were desperate, right? They're like, oh, my kid wants one for Christmas. I'll okay, here you go. Here's the money. And those scalpers are just laughing all the way to the bank because people got impatient. They're just like, no, my kids can wait. That's what they should have done. But no, they were like, oh, they really want it, and if I don't get it, they're gonna hate me. Well, you gotta. They're gonna hate you no matter what. Let's be honest, right? They're never gonna be happy. So, but yeah, look at all that, and now people are just like, I should have waited, because there's no way in the world I should have spent that much money. Yeah, because people would scam, like, oh, here, send me the money and I'll send it to you, and then they never talk to you again, and there's $800 gone, right? and then you're fighting to get that money back. You know, so you know, see if I was gonna buy, I mean, I can order one through Amazon. I trust Amazon, but if I was going, like, I could get a PS5 through Amazon right now, this version, and I could have it in my hands tomorrow. So otherwise, I would feel more comfortable if they had them at the GameStop there at the mall that's somehow still open, whereas other stores have just given up and closed, but the GameStop is still there. Uh, you know, if I could buy it there and bring it home myself, I would. That would be preferable too. But there was a time that if it's like, dang, if I go pick, if they had one and I bought it, I'd be worried about walking to, if I was, going to drive it home, like walking to my car, for instance. Not that I have one, but just think about that. That if you're walking back to your car and somebody happens to see that you've got a box that looks like an Xbox or a PS5, that somebody's going to jump you and steal it from you, and that's it. Oh yeah, yeah. A lot of people are I think that 2080 Super that Scruffy got, that somebody gifted him because they, it's made his stuff a little bit more stable. You know, so yeah, it'll happen eventually. I'm not too worried about it. I'll still fly on this, fly here on the Xbox side while I can. Uh, you know, it's a bit frustrating because it's just like, you know, it'd be nice if we, now it's just that whole other waiting period again for stuff from a developer like PMDG. But from them, I definitely would like to get the DC-6, and I would like to get the 737-800, and I'd be happy with those two from them. I don't know that there's anything else coming out that I feel like it would be something that I would really want to have in the sim. Well, no, there are some fighter jets coming. There is somebody who's developing the Tornado. I'd definitely like to have that. And the Phantom. What else? I know there's an A380 coming. I did see somebody did do an update that where they are on the development process. But again, I don't know if that developer, because I think it's Aerosoft, I don't know that they're going to release any of their stuff on the Xbox. I don't think. I don't know. Yep. My friend Mick would agree with you on that one, Paradox. Absolutely. That would be nice to have. I mean, there's things, but it's also kind of like, so Deimos released an A10 yesterday, and I do have some of Deimos' stuff. He did have a bad name for some time, and he's worked very hard to kind of clear his name and put out quality stuff. But it's like, well, it's not something I really feel like I need. It'd be nice to have. It looks good. But, is it something that I would fly on a regular basis? No. I mean, there's so much stuff already as it is to fly in the sim that it's hard to, like trying to find the time to do everything, fly all kinds of stuff. See, Mick just he's like, oh yeah, he got all dreamy eyes. Yeah, he's 17. Yeah, I do too. It's that's why I was like really excited about the DC-6, the DC-3. I'm hoping eventually we'll get some better updates with that now that we have the Wasm thing, and maybe maybe Airplane Heaven, although their reputation isn't as solid as I thought it was. Because they did put out the Electra, and a lot of people are just like, yeah, it wasn't. It's not as good as people expected. The 247 Delta, I was really looking forward to that, although it seems like the developers have basically given up on that project. I don't know. Uh, they just got frustrated, maybe. Yeah, that's yeah. Yeah. I've had the same issue. It's like just trying to get it to climb and to settle down, and then eventually it does start to go, but it's like trying to find when to do things appropriately, I guess. I don't know. But uh but yeah, I am keen on the DC-6. It'd be nice to be able to do that. Uh so yeah, there's just lots of stuff out there, but it's finding the time to do it, you know. Even when I was streaming 4 days out of the week, either I'm having to do stuff off stream, but then it's like I feel kind of bad because it's like, well, do I, uh, if I do this, then it's like people are going to miss out on the opportunity to see me fly this plane. But part of it is I have to feel comfortable with the aircraft before you know, like I have to test it and figure things out, make some notes and stuff like that. Uh, but yeah, I don't know. It's nothing's ever perfect. What works today doesn't work tomorrow. That's why I try to spend the time. Before I stream. Does all this stuff work? Or is there anything going on that I need to be aware of that's going to cause problem of some kind? So. Um, Like I do need to set aside the time. I've been saying it for quite some time. I said it last year. I still want to do it. I do want to get a flight in on the Concorde. I think that would be amazing. Um, you know, um, that for sure is on my list of things to accomplish. Uh, There is an achievement if you fly from. There's an airport. It's the airport near Asobo's headquarters, and you fly all the way to Seattle. The A319 corporate jet would definitely be able to get all the way there on a full tank of gas and then some. Because the that airport does not look like it's large enough to handle a 747. Although I could be wrong, but based on what I saw, it didn't seem like there'd be enough room for a 747. So the corporate jet I could do, the A319 corporate, and I would have more than enough fuel to get there. But it would be a very long flight. Uh, that's about 10 hours or so in the air. So I could do that because there's an achievement for that, I believe. So, so that would be fun to do. But that would be something I would have to plan extensively to make sure that I'm prepared for it. Food and taking enough breaks along the way to. So I'm not just sitting here in the recliner and. So I could do that at some point. Alright, so we're on our way. This is a VOR DME that we're on our way to BRY. That is near an airport, if I remember correctly. just need to see where we're at along the flight here. Oh, we're almost halfway there. Okay, I see BRY. So yeah, we are over. We're just south of Paris, it looks like. So we're almost halfway there. So some of these next, we'll have some stuff that's together as far as our navigation aids, and then there'll be another stretch or two where it's going to be a bit of a distance between the navigation aids, and then before we know it, we'll start descending. Our descending point will be at once we hit between Mivki and Ridib. There's a distance there that we're going to have to start dropping altitude. And then our approach, let's see. Let's look at our, where do we have to be at for our ILS approach? 6 right Zulu. We have to be at about 4,000 feet for our ILS approach. Is our minimum altitude. So there we go. So we can look at our flight plan here. It's saying 2,500. All right, so 2,500 is what we should be at. So we have to be at about 12,000, we'll say 11,000 feet at Rit B, and then 10.6. So that's what we got left. So there we go. Still got a lot left to do. But we're almost halfway there as it is. A lot of cloud cover. So somebody's in a Boeing 787. Let's see what it is, although we're moving, so maybe it'll... Oh, here. Learn something. But yeah, so yeah, that's what we got. I think looking forward in the future. Beyond that, I just don't see any. Other than a few fighter jets, I just don't see anything else. Yeah, I know. I'm trying to mix it up, Paradox, so that it's not the same stuff all the time. You know, we fly the Junkers 52. You know, if I didn't have the accident, then we would have been mixing things up a bit more. If I didn't break my right arm, and that's, if I could go back in time, I would totally avoid the place that I was walking, and I wouldn't have, ended up breaking my humerus bone, which was not funny, trust me. So, but yeah, I'm just trying to mix things up because some people don't, it's like, I know part of it is, it's like, no matter what I fly, some people, like, they do like the Junkers, right? They want to fly something like that, a vintage plane. But, a lot of people don't like it because there's no autopilot. They don't have the patience to hand fly it either. And then some people, they don't like the airliners because once you take off, bang, the plane's flying itself. So, good morning, Chris. So yeah, it's that's the difficult part, you know. So I try to mix it up just so that if people do want to fly, if they're like, yeah, the jetliner works for me because I don't have to worry about hand flying it. Once I'm in the air, I hit the buttons, the plane takes over, and I can just kind of sit back and relax. And as long as the plane doesn't start acting crazy. But yeah, like all this cloud cover, there's nothing. I mean, I can change the weather, right? But that kind of, I wanted it to be live just so that we have something different to see. We don't just have the same, the same stuff. So, or, I could put on a few clouds, but it's not realistic either. So, but I do that on the Junkers just so that we have something in the sky. It's not always going to be just clear, right? That's not a very realistic setting either. So, but I just try to have something in the air to, because if we fly in the morning, we got that nice morning light going through the clouds, and it looks amazing. But I mean, we're over mainland Europe. We're still south of Paris. Paris is back, probably where they are, right there. That's what I'm guessing. Is where Gull Airport is right now. Yeah. Eventually, it does kind of handle itself, and so even with my flight stick, I can, it's not that bad at all. So, yeah, I don't mind that at all. So that does help quite a bit. But it's nice, if people want to fly an A320 flight, or a jetliner flight with me, they can. Because it's just like I can put together something and they're like, okay, I can do that. Because once they're in there, hit the autopilot and bang, the plane will just follow the path. It's a lot easier than I expected. So far of all, that was the first Local Legends I got, and I am ecstatic with it. It's phenomenal. It's easy to fly. It's a lot of fun. I really like it. But for some people, it's too much. They look at all those dials and stuff, and they're like, I can't do it. It's like, sure you can. It just takes time. So the stuff is possible. It's part of it is one of the things that, and I learned this when I used to do Train Sim World 2, and even to an extent Train Sim World 3. It's easy to get overwhelmed in something that looks complicated. But it looks complicated because in our minds we make it that way, right? If we just go like, okay, if I just practice at it, if I fail, I fail. It's not the end of the world, right? If I learn from the failure, that's the way to do it. So you just have to get comfortable with it, and you go like, this isn't as bad as I thought it was. I don't know why I even was worried about it. We tend to overcomplicate things because we just feel that way we can validate our what do you call it? When we just give up. It's just too difficult. Don't bother. But if you stick with it, you're just like, dang, I did it. And a lot of people do Paradox. They look at this and they go like, it's just too much technology. Well, yeah, but I don't like I know, like this is the engine stuff right here, right? As long as nothing goes red, then I guess everything's fine. As long as nothing goes red here, everything's fine. That's all I need to know, right? But there's people who, even with all this, they'll say, "I need to introduce failures because I want to know that I can fly it if I have to." You know, what are my procedures? Where would I go you know uh, if there was an emergency? What airport can I fly to that I could land this thing safely? There's people they enjoy that part of it, right? That like emergency procedure stuff, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's something enjoyable in that too. You know, but part of it too is how much time can you really dedicate to learning? Exactly. Yeah. That's the key. Is if you failure, there's nothing wrong with failure except when you don't learn anything from it. If you just go like, "Oh, I failed, I give up." Bleh. Well, then you're never going to get anywhere. You're never going to enjoy anything. You know. I don't always take good pictures when I go out to take pictures. I look at them and go, "Oh my God, that was crap. What was I thinking?" Other times I'm like, "Yeah, that turned out better than I expected," or I didn't, you know. So, yeah, if you don't learn anything from your failures, then what's the point? You're not learning anything at all. You're not learning. The only thing you're learning about yourself is you're just a quitter. Now, it's one thing if you say, "I gave it my honest best, and you know what? I discovered this isn't for me." Okay, there's nothing wrong with that either. You know. But many people are just like, "Oh no, that's just no, I can't." Okay, well then you're gonna get stuck in a rut. You know. I'll use like when Captain Arish, when I started learning about VOR navigating, VOR to VOR navigation, and once I kind of worked at it and just kept trying and you know kept going through the whole process of the how it all works. If I just said, "Oh no, that's just forget it. I don't care about that," then it's I'm not learning something, a different way of navigating. You know, so it's just a different way to fly. That's all. But now it's like, okay, now I can dial in these VORs like when I'm flying the Junkers. So, okay, our next VOR, whatever, I'm going to dial this in. Here's the heading, and I head off that way. So, but yeah, a lot of people just give up. But they'll blame everybody else for giving up. They won't go like, I let myself down. I wish I'd worked harder at math, but I gave up on it. I'm just like, I don't need to know all this stuff. If I knew calculus and geometry and algebra and trigonometry and all that stuff, that opens up a whole nother world. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. The time trial stuff for your licensing or whatever. Yeah, there's stuff that you do and you're just like, this doesn't make any sense. Why am I failing? Why am I not able to achieve the goal to advance to the next round? Because there's things you look at what the game expects you to do, and then you do it and you're just like, I'm still not getting there. But yeah, that's true too, Paradox. Yeah. And that's what I did. Even I would watch Captain RS fly, but I would be like, okay, I'm going to just try from here to here to here using VOR navigating. So that's what I would do, and it's just after a while, I'm like, okay, this makes sense now. But you just have to keep working at it. you know. And there's nothing wrong with you go like, well, this doesn't make any sense, so I'm going to step away from this until I get to, like I can come back to it later. Maybe it's just I'm not getting it. Maybe, and there's nothing wrong with that either, right? It's like, okay, let me set this down and walk away. Let me put this away for a little while and then come back to it another time. Maybe I'm trying so much that it's not getting, it's not working for me, you know. And it's amazing because sometimes that's all it takes. You set it down, you walk away, you come back a few days later, bam, you get on the first try, you're like, why couldn't I have done that before? Well, you know, yeah, there has to be a point where you just say, well, maybe this is a sign that either I go on to something else or I just stop for the night and I can come back to it another day. It's not going to disappear. This fear, I don't know what it is. This fear that, oh, if I don't do this thing today, tomorrow suddenly, no, you know, like your farm, Mick. It would be your choice if you say, I just don't want to do the farm anymore. You know, but that's your decision because it's your thing. But you have to be able to say, if I can't join today, I have to be okay that if Mick decides to delete something tomorrow, that's his choice, and I have to be okay with that choice. But to oh, if I don't do it now, or if I don't, it's okay to set it aside for a moment or for a day or two or a week or whatever, and say, okay, I can join. Like if my arm, using my injury for example, right? If my arm suddenly next week when I do physical therapy, my arm is worse than it is right now, and Mick comes back and says, I'm ready to. Sorry, had to sneeze. Mick is ready to get back on the farm. If I say I would join, but my arm is I'm in a lot more pain than I was before, Mick would not. I don't think Mick would say, well, but I need you on the farm. No, Mick would say, let your arm heal. It's okay. We'll see you next week. Something like that, right? I'm not going to go like, oh, my arm hurts, but I'm going to join anyway, and I'm going to just, even though it's probably going to it's not going to help me at all with my arm pain, that's the sort of thing. I'm not going to go like, oh, but again, if he says, you know what, I'm going to delete the farm, we're going to start from scratch anyway, so you're not missing anything, right? It's his choice. Right? It's still at the end of the day his choice. It's not the end of the world one way or the other. But people treat it as such. And I don't know what it is. It's just like this, I have to be there for everything. Otherwise, I am the worst person in the world. I learned a long time ago, and I think I've said this before. If you bend over backwards to try to make everybody happy, you're never going to get there at all. End of story. Nobody's ever going to be happy 100% of the time with anything you do. And you have to be okay with that. You have to be okay and say, you know what? If you're not happy, that's okay. I'm still here. I'm going to still do my thing. If you're not happy with the fact that I'm flying a jetliner, for instance, I know you wouldn't, Mick, but I'm just saying, I'm using that as an example. You wouldn't tell me, but Rob, I really need you on the farm. You'd say, hey, if you need to rest your arm, it's fine. It's not the end of the world. Either you would cancel the stream and do something else, or you would just get on there and crack on anyway. And either way would be fine. It's your choice. But yeah, nobody's ever going to be happy all the time with anything you do, and if you think that you're going to find a secret to making everybody happy, you're not. Absolutely not. I've tried, and I fail every time, and then I'm miserable and I'm angry, and I'm just like, why am I trying to do all that? Why am I trying to make everybody else happy? Why am I not making myself happy? You know, that's the question you have to be asking yourself. Why am I more worried about everybody else's happiness? If they're just happy to see me, then that's all it should matter, right? If you stream and people come in and have a laugh and whatever, that's all that should matter. It shouldn't matter like, oh, I want you to, like Joe, well, when are you going to play this game? How come you're not doing Opsy? I know, Mick. I know. But those are all things that, but they get fussy. Like, well, how come you're not playing this game? And how come you always do this instead of these other things? Well, it's his channel. He has the right to do that. If you're that worried about it, why aren't you streaming? Why aren't you putting out content that you want to do? Well, my voice and people are going to be... So you're going to come in and be fussy with somebody else because they're doing stuff. Good morning, Mela. They're not playing the game that you want. You're not driving a route that you want. Well, why are you playing this American route crap? Why are you playing the German route? When are you going to go back to this? What the hell? Where do you get off making that demand of somebody? You miserable person. That's what it boils down to. It's just that misery. And because Joe's doing something he enjoys. Oh, we can't have that. Right? That's where it leads to. Right? I've never seen people complain so much and be so demanding of somebody else, but won't do anything themselves. Or do you stream? No. Why not? Well, it's just a lot of work. Well, okay, so, but you're going to come in and ruin somebody else's work, right? You're going to come in and make demands of somebody and think that that's okay. It's not your channel, it's his channel. But there's people, I see it all the time, and I'm just like, I'd ban them. And I know Joe doesn't want to do that, but that'd be my solution after a while. I'd be like, when are you going to stream it? Why don't you stream OMSI? Why don't you stream whatever? If you don't like what I'm doing, why don't you do it yourself? Let's not get crazy now. Well, it's a reasonable observation, right? If you're going to come in and demand, I'm going to demand that you put your money where your mouth is. Why don't you stream it? Because people come in and start doing that to you and you're not going to like it. Right? I've never seen a generation so worried about what everybody else is doing instead of just doing things for themselves. Is that Chronico? That looks like Chronico. That must be Chronico. Only Chronico would sneak in. I'm pretty sure that's Chronico. I can't see the nameplate, but I'm almost positive that's who it is. Flying formation in a business jet with me at 37,000 feet. Chronico, if that's you, good morning. Welcome. Thanks for hopping in and flying along. I don't know when you joined in, but you snuck up on me. Pretty sure that's who it is. Chronico does love to fly formation. can't see the nameplate. Yeah, of course. So there we are. We have an escort to Rome. Nice. Unless somebody else is doing it, but that's exactly how Chronico flies. No, I can't even see out that. Far enough behind. Yeah. I didn't expect to see a plane. I had chicken nuggets last night for dinner. I ordered it after. No, I think I ordered it when I was watching Nick's stream last night. That farming game. Effects farming together. I think it's called. You know, Mick, if you're still here, Joseph asked me if I got a PS5, would I get that game? And I said no. Why do I don't need. See, that's the other thing too, right? I don't need everything. I don't need to do everything that everybody else is doing. I like to be able to watch Mick and Bex play farming together, because it's not a super serious farm, right? You're not worried about another harvester or anything like that. It's fun. It's supposed to be just a nice, relaxing thing for the two of you to enjoy. It does not mean that I have to do the same thing as them, or like, oh, I'll get it and I'll find somebody else. No, that's not how I want to live my life. If like, okay, the DC-6, I'll use that as another example, right? I know, like, Sergeant Staff he flies the DC-6. He did a stream where he went from Liverpool all the way to JFK in the DC-6. And he talked about, it was the first time he landed, all 4 engines were still running when he got there. He put it on the ground, and he was really happy with it. Now, if I buy it, it's not because I have to have the same plane as... Yeah, exactly. I don't have to have the same plane. I'm not buying it just because Sergeant Staff has it. It's just that I want to be able to fly something as challenging as the DC-6. Right? But how I approach the DC-6 is going to be different than maybe how Sergeant Staff approaches it. Right? Because we're two different people. But we hope that the outcome is still the same, that we enjoy the plane, we get something out of it, that sort of thing, right? But this notion that we have to have air, it's like the whole thing, the myth of keeping up with the Joneses. If you try to do that, you're going to drive yourself nuts, because one of the Joneses is always going to have something that you can't get right away, or if ever. And if you can't accept that, well, then what's the point? Yeah. I just don't understand why people feel like that's something that they have to do. I don't want that in my life. I'd rather kick back and watch Bex and Bick on that other farming game, because that's their thing, right? That's something that between the two of them, they say, oh, let's get this game, we're going to have a bit of fun, it's nothing serious, it's going to be chill, that's it. Somebody's stealing my airflow back there. But no, I don't want everything that everybody else has. Unless, like, it's a game where it's like, okay, maybe it's something you want to play, but you're like, well, I don't, you know, what do you think about us teaming up on this game, right? But doesn't mean I have to. It's like, nah, I thought about it, but nah, it's not what I want, you know. So, you know, it's just, hey, you have to be okay with that. You have to be okay with the word no. You have to be okay with doing your own thing. I don't know, I know I keep saying that, and I say it a million times, but it's the truth. You have to be okay with being yourself, being comfortable in your own skin, and doing your own thing. If people don't accept that, that says more about them than it does you. End of story. Period. But I know. I'm in one ear, not the other, right? Oh yeah, it's a good distance there. Alright, let's just kind of zoom out and see what our big picture looks like coming up. That's at 320 nautical miles. Alright, so we're almost there. We're more than halfway there, so pretty soon we're going to start descending to prepare for our arrival portion. So, yeah. We get over the Swiss Alps here. French Alps, Austrian Alps, whichever. Probably the French Alps. We're going over the Alps. We'll just say that. How about that? Gotta be yourself. Gotta be okay with yourself. And I wasn't for a long time. Sometimes I'm still not, to be honest. Oh, yeah. I can imagine. It's weird that it's already opening day. We still have cold weather. It just seems like it can't be. I don't know. We haven't even gotten into spring training yet, I don't think. I know the pitchers and catchers, I think, have already reported for spring training. Has the season really already started? Like, it just seems kind of early. I don't know. I haven't really kept up with baseball in quite some time. Maybe because there's no professional. Like, if I wanted to go see a professional game, I'd have to either go to Philadelphia or to New York City, see either the Mets or the Yankees. Or I have to go to Philadelphia to see the Phillies. It used to be the Philadelphia A's before they moved to Oakland. A long time ago. Yeah, next thing you know, it's going to be playoff time. Yeah. Wild cards and trying to stay in the hunt for the postseason. Yeah, I haven't really followed baseball in some time. I don't know. Yeah, I don't follow sports as much as I used to. I think I basically just, it's like one day I just woke up and I'm like, why am I, what am I doing with my time here? I mean, there is something exciting about actually going to a game in person, whether it's football or baseball or whatever, because it's something fun. But it's not like, if I want to go watch the team here in town that's associated with the Mets, I could, and it's not that expensive, to be honest, to watch a minor league team. But if I think about it, I'm just like, do I really want to do that? No, not really. I don't know that I'd be very happy with it, you know, with the time spent. Like, I think I could do more with that time than watching a minor league baseball game. I think, I think yeah, well, it was called the Binghamton Mets. They called it the B Mets. And then that team, I think, moved to Syracuse. So now they're called the Binghamton Rumble Ponies. I think they're still associated with the Mets. They're a Mets affiliated team. And I forget the Sand Gnats in Savannah, which are now called the Banana Hammocks, although I think they may have changed their name again too. I forget who they were associated with. Yeah. But I used my buddy who's in Vegas. We used to love going to the Sand Gnats games because it was cheap, and you could even, for a really good price, you could get the seats where somebody brings you your food, so you're not waiting in line for your food. And I did that, I think, twice when I used to go to Giants games. My buddy and I at the time, we found tickets for a pretty good price that you could sit in the seats where the section where you just order the food and somebody brings it to you, so you don't have to wait in line. And you have access generally, I think, to better bathrooms and all that. You don't wait too long. It's like a different section of the stadium or the ballpark. But yeah, I mean, that's like a really cool thing to do once in a while. Is just get those seats that the view's great, and you don't have you just like get me some hot dogs, some fries, and, beer or soda, whatever. Every time seventh inning, bring me the cotton candy, please. That was always my seventh inning thing for the stretch. Brick out, or no, don't call it that, Abella. No, no, no. Pac-Bell Park. We don't call it any other name in my world. No, it's Pac-Bell Park. It's always that. I don't care who pays gazillion dollars to put their name on it. It was Pac-Bell Park first. It will always be Pac-Bell Park. Yeah, that park, not the one that you called it. No, that's. Oh. I don't call it that. Yes. The Giant Stadium, aka Pac-Bell Park. No, not that one. That is up in Seattle, I think. That's Seattle's park. That looks like a nice park. I would like to visit the Mariners Park to see a baseball game, but I've never been there. No, so the Giant Stadium in downtown San Francisco, originally Pac Bell, when Pac Bell was still around, that's who was the original main name sponsor for the stadium, and then AT&T bought Pac Bell, so that it became AT&T Park, and then Now it's Oracle Park. Uh, but to me, I've always known. I will always call it Pac Bell because that's the name, its first name, and I'll never call it anything but that. I don't care who. Oracle can spend 50, 60 billion dollars to keep their name up there. I don't care. I don't, I don't give them that acknowledgement, right? if I can help it. Just like Candlestick Park, I think either Oracle or somebody bought the name on there as well, or gave them enough money to put their name in front of it. So it was like Oracle Park at Candlestick Point or something like that. It's always, to me, in my mind, even though the stadium no longer exists, it's always going to be Candlestick Park. That's how I do it, and that's how I will always know it. Because those corporations, it comes and goes on a whim. If somebody else says yes, exactly. So if they say, well, so let's say AT&T goes back to the San Francisco Giants and says, we want to put our name back on there. We're going to offer you more money than Oracle is, right? And some people will do that, and they'll be like, okay, fine, and they'll tell Oracle, unless you can beat that same amount of money or more, your name's got to go, So, but that's just it. Because then it's also about, like those, like Oracle, I'm sure gets some of those fancy skyboxes, right? So they have like corporate outings, and so all the VPs and their families go, and they can go and meet the players, before the game or maybe after the game. It's more about marketing and and of course their kids. Well, I got to go see the Giants play, and I got to go meet the players, and I got to meet the manager, and all that kind of stuff. That's all it is. But at the end of the day, can they say that they're fans of the team, or is it more that they get that access? Look at all these Hollywood people suddenly. Oh, I love F1. Oh, it's fantastic. They couldn't name a champion from the 1950s if you asked them. They'd have to pull out their phone and Google that shit. But I loved F1 for years. Wow, big fan. Wow, yeah. Frickin' Brad Pitt starting the 24-hour Le Mans. They got the big flag and everything. He got to wave it. Oh yeah, I've loved Le Mans for years. Okay, can you name who's like one of the top team, manufacturers that's won Le Mans? Well, maybe Ferrari. No. Try again. Toyota? Nope. Try again. Well, I don't know. Matra? They claim all this stuff, but they don't. Do they know the history? If they know the history, then I'm like, okay, you're a legit fan. But if you don't know the history, then what the hell are you talking about? Brad Pitt did the game Moneyball. Could he name some of the classic Oakland A's players? I don't know. Could he? Does he know? But you'll make a movie about the Oakland A's, but do you know their history? At least then I'd respect you more, that you actually know what the hell you're talking about. But it's more that so and so was seen over Monaco, and this is fantastic, and okay, well, if that was the case, then you would have been there for many years, right? Yeah, exactly. They know nothing about the sport. They just get they're just like, oh, so and so was spotted over here, and they claim that they're a big fan. Okay, well, I can claim I'm related to the royal family, but doesn't mean it's true. You know, right? I can make that claim, but I don't have any proof whatsoever. You know. It's like all these people that suddenly became fans of Man United. Oh, Man United, they're great. Okay, can you name some of the great players? Not currently, but we're talking about the history again. Well, the name escapes me right now. Well, if you're a big fan, you would know those things, right? Because it shows that you actually cared enough. Like, even if you have to go like, oh yeah, like, they start rattling off names, everybody's like, that's pretty impressive. Yeah, you're a fan, all right. You know the history. But you have a lot of fair weather fans. Like the Yankees suddenly get a run. Everybody suddenly becomes a Yankees fan, right? Oh, the Yankees, great. Okay, can you name some Yankee greats? Well, they can only name one. Babe Ruth. Babe Ruth, right? That's okay. Well, you can name I mean, I don't know. I couldn't name any Man United fans, but you have all these people and suddenly they jump on that bandwagon because they're the big thing, right? Everybody's talking, or it's like all of a sudden everybody became a Patriots fan because of Tom Brady, right? But where were they during the lean years? Where were they when they were their prep team, right? Well, they couldn't be bothered then, but Tom Brady, I'm a huge Patriots fan. No, you're a Tom Brady fan. He just happens to be playing for the Patriots. Look at, he goes down to Tampa. All of a sudden, everybody's a Tampa Bay fan. Where were you when they were playing like crap? Well, I cared. I just wasn't very vocal about it. No, you're Tom Brady's fan. That's all you are. You just care about Tom Brady. You don't care about the team itself. Just say you follow Tom Brady. At least you're being honest, you know? Alright, how much further? 22. Oh, we're already past that one. We're on our way to our next one. So yeah, we're getting closer, folks. Still got the escort here. It's gotta be fine. I'm positive that. Yeah, we will, Bella. It's coming. They feel pretty confident in saying that it'll be before the end of April. They're working at it. They're testing and fixing and whatever else they got to do. But they said we should see the 737 stuff before the end of April. They feel pretty confident about that. So I'm guessing, I think we'll see the DC-6 first, and then we'll see the 737 stuff. Or maybe we'll see it all at the same time. I don't know. But that's the only, I'm getting the DC-6, and I'm going to get the 737. Oh, there it is. It is Capustick. He's in the F-35. Not a corporate jet. He's in the F-35. So we got a fighter escort here down to Rome. Nice. So yeah, the 737-800 series would be the one that I'll get because it's the one that most airlines fly still today. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. But that's the only two things that I'm looking forward to from them. I don't know that I need anything else. I had a feeling it was Capustic, but of course he's in an F-35 fighter jet. He's not in like a Cessna Longitude or anything. Yeah, yeah, exactly. I'm looking forward to it. Just a little left turn there, Capustic. Yeah, I figured it must be Capustic. Well-known formation flyer in the Microsoft Flight Sim community. I know he was flying formation with Scruffy Tam last night. Puzzling Cube, thank you for the follow 2 minutes ago. Sorry, I just noticed that. Watching my fighter escort. Making sure we get to Rome nice and safe. Thank you for the follow, Puzzling Cube. Appreciate it. Welcome to the Uncle B Sim channel. We are a little not too long out from getting to Rome. So we have Mivki is next, and then we're going to start descending into our next point there, Ritib. Ritib, whichever way you want to call it, and then we'll be on the ground before we know it. So thank you everybody for coming in and hanging out today. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. You didn't miss anything, Amela. You know Joseph when he's on the trains. You know what he's up to. No good as usual. Speeding excessively, all that stuff. You know, typical Joseph. You didn't miss anything. You worry me sometimes, Joseph. Honestly, man, the way you drive those trains, it freaks me out. I'm not gonna lie. I'm like bracing for impact at any moment. Yeah, you gotta remember, Joseph, we're 5 hours behind you, and Mela might still be asleep when you go live. It just so happened that I was up and about, and Mr. Overshoot again. Yeah, back to that whole thing. Yeah, you gotta remember, we're still asleep. I was watching Captain Arash do his Friday charter flight, and then when I was looking at YouTube, I saw that Joseph was live. I was like, oh, okay, all right. How much further we got to go? All right, just under 130 nautical miles. All right, so let's start our descending. We're gonna do a little bit at a time. We're not gonna, because we got a long way to go still. So we'll go down to, let's go down to 35. Here is the server there as Leighton. We're on the Southeast Asia server, and we are we're starting our descent into Rome. We're heading to LIFR. So we're on our way to the beginning of our arrival phase of the flight. So yeah, once we're on the ground, we're going to be wrapping things up for the day. I got some stuff I gotta do, things I want to take care of. So Yeah, we'll be back on Monday. Junkers 52, our tour across America. Leg 46 will be the next one. I'm not sure where we're heading to next, but we'll take off from Cincinnati and head somewhere else. That much I do know for sure. Thank you all for coming in and hanging out today. Last Friday of March already. Can't believe it. It's hard to believe March is already coming to an end. I'll be back tomorrow on the Division 2, showcasing some stuff to kind of give some people who are either coming back to the game or getting it because it's on sale, just some things that kind of help them with their character and all that. All right, let's go to 30,000 feet. Yeah, that seemed rather strange because there was a lot of people there. It was like they all showed up at once, and then they all left. But that's okay. It's either that or the only other thing I could think of was that they were kind of thinking about starting some trouble in the chat, and then they thought they were like, no, there's enough mods there that maybe it's gonna get, you know. It just seemed like, I don't know, maybe that's what they were prepared for, was to stir up trouble, but who knows. But luckily nothing bad happened either. Just never know. All right, how much farther do we got to go? Should be under 100 nautical miles, so we'll level off at 30,000 feet. We'll fly here for a little while, and then we'll step on down. We'll go 25, 20, 15, and then 12. That's where we need to be at for our, or 11, I'm sorry, for our, once we cross, hit that next nav point. And then we'll go from there. We'll go down to 6. We'll stay at 6, and then we'll get told to reduce from there, I would imagine. Stick, thanks for flying along. Appreciate it. Nice to have you along. Yeah, we'll get started about 7 o'clock on Saturday morning, my time, which will be noon in the UK. If you aren't a big fan of violent video games, then I would suggest steering clear of me for tomorrow. If that's something that you don't particularly fond of. Oops. We'll just stay at 250. Yeah, if that doesn't suit your viewing pleasures, then just giving everybody a heads up. That's exactly what we're going to do. I still think I would. I think I would really like playing that game with you and Pulse, man. We'd have a pretty good bit of fun together on that one. Fantastic formation flying, Captain Stick. Absolutely fantastic. I don't know how you do it, quite honestly. Alright, where are we at? 70. Oh, there's somebody else. Somebody else must be in a fighter jet, I'm guessing. I don't know. What's the weather like there now in Rome? Let's have a look-see. Uh, 17 degrees Celsius, a little bit of clouds at 1,500 feet, so 2994 are our altimeter reading there at our airport, our destination. Alright, what are we looking at now? 55 nautical miles. Leveling off here. We'll go a little bit longer on this. We'll stay here for just a few more minutes. 25,000 feet, and then we'll drop down a little bit more. Let's get to 50 nautical miles, then we'll go another 5,000 to 20. And we'll start slowing down here, and we'll get some flaps down. Aircraft kind of set up for success there. So if we look, if we zoom out a little bit here, basically that's it. That's what we got left right there. All that stuff right there. That's 160 nautical miles. There's 80. So yeah, we'll be there pretty soon, folks. What do you know what I forgot to do? Seatbelt sign. Oh, you've been sending. And cabin crew can clean up the mess. Alrighty. Alright, yep, we gotta, let's go down to 20. What's that? What's the ding of the to say for the flight attendants to start cleaning up and preparing for arrival? Yeah, I could see that because then it's like, okay, we're coming to the end of the flight, and it's time to start, getting yourself ready for arriving at your destination, and getting all your documents prepared, your passport, you know, kind of checking to make sure you know where everything is. So once you're on the ground, you know where where like your phone is, your that. So we'll go to 20, and then we'll go again. We'll go to 15, and then we'll go to 11, and then that should set us up for success here coming up. I think next one we're going to drop down to 230, and we'll get our first set of flaps down. So, yeah, grab the flight stick here so I'm prepared for my flaps. First set of flaps down. Maybe not.
Overspeed. 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 Overspeed.
Well, it's hard to get. It's hard to get the. Let's try this again. Nope, still too fast. All right. See, it says 230, but I think 210 is the spot that we need to be at for that first set of flaps. Try that now. Nope. Should do it. All right, there we go. All right, folks, as usual, once we're getting closer and everything, I'm going to have to keep my eyes away from the chat as we prepare for our arrival. So if you make any comments, I will try to catch up to them as soon as we're on the ground, nice and safe. Please do not spam the chat. Appreciate it. Welcome to the room. It's been our pleasure flying with you today. We know you have a plethora of options when it comes to your virtual airlines. We're glad that you chose Parasox Air. Parasox Air! Just because you have a pair of socks does not mean they have to match. Sure. All right, there we go, folks. Oh, okay. All right, looks like we're going to get our, they're going to tell us, no, maybe not. Interesting. All right, we have to be at 6,000 by the next one. So we still got a little bit of distance here. So we're going to live at 10. So CMP, which is a VOR DME, once we get there, we have to be at 6,000. So. All right. Let's see if we can go to 6 now. Oh, no. All right, so it's going to tell us to go to 6,000 here in a minute then. It must be. All right. I'm guessing. Once we get past this nav point here, it should tell us to go. Yeah, I could imagine. What else we have? Two fighter escorts. We have an F-22 back there. There we go. And after that should be. Got quite a long runway here. Once we're lined up for approach. All right. There we go. Yeah, of course, now the ads are playing. All right, there we go, folks. Make a right turn here coming up. There we go. All right, so coming up, we'll turn left again coming up here shortly. Roughly where that A320 is, that should be our airport right out there. Let's see, IFRR, it should be our... All right. Yep, 10975. Yep, that is the frequency there. It's already dialed in. Perfect. All right, folks. Once I make the turn here coming up to line up for a final, drop the landing gear. We'll be ready to set this thing down nice and easy. Get the aircraft under control. Call it a day. Appreciate everybody coming in and hanging out today. Thank you for the fighter escorts today. Appreciate it. That was unexpected. Nice. last bit of speed reduction here. That's for the flaps. Drop the landing gear down now. Thinking right around there is where airport should be, like right around there. Turning in here in just a moment. Once our timings are all lined up, we'll activate the ILS approach. I think it's more than this name, more than that. Fiumicino? Go. All right, so I think I have to get to right. This one is lined up. Localizer. Other one. Should do it. All right, that should capture the glide slope. There we go, folks. All right, the tractor beam has engaged. We are on our way for our land here momentarily. Be on the ground before you know it. right into the wind. A little bit slight cross, but that's okay. Just fine. Wind, a little bit of a correction there, autopilot. Over the threshold. Here we go, folks.
60, 50, 40, 30, 20, retard.
Oops. Little bounce, little bounce. There we are. Get the e-brakes up all the way. There we go. On behalf of myself and entire flight crew, we welcome you to Rome, Italy. Local time is 15:35, I think. Don't want to go too fast here. Yep, 15:35. We understand and appreciate the fact that we're learning how to fly with the Velocity 1 flight stick. But hey, we're getting there. We will, I promise. decimal minor. Through the gates, please and thank you. There's our gate right there. It says I'm doing 27 knots, but it feels like I'm going slower than that, to be honest. Okay, we're almost there, folks. We'll be wrapping things up here in just a moment. See, it's saying that I'm going fast, but I think the speed's a little bit off here. I have to get the throttle back on just a bit to get us to our parking spot here. Made the gate chase us there. All right, there we go. Jetway's connected. We get the alert there off. All right. Lights off. All right, there we are. Not too bad. Not too bad at all. We had some fighter escort along the way. Thank you both for that. Appreciate it. Very nice. Great formation flying. All right, let's go ahead and end this. There we go. 2 hours and 31 minutes. Boy, I figured it about right. It said 2 hours. Oh, you're welcome. Glad you were able to get some practice in the air. Appreciate it. So, yeah, there we are. Not too bad. 2.5 hours in the air, roughly. I'll say 2 hours and 32 minutes, but we got there before the 2 hours and 40 something. So, yeah, that was fantastic. So, anyway, that's going to do it for today, folks. Thank you all for coming in and hanging out. Thank you for the new follows. Puzzling Cube 774. Thank you for the follow earlier in the flight, about an hour ago. I'll be back tomorrow, 7 o'clock Eastern, noon UK time on Division 2, kind of going over some things, a little bit of gameplay. So if violent video games are not your forte, you might want to steer clear of my channel tomorrow. It's not going to be a regular feature. It's just some stuff that I wanted to kind of get to my friends over there in the UK. Some questions. Maybe it's just easier for me to answer them that way, showing it instead of trying to explain it in text messages. It's easier to do it that way. So anyway, yeah, we'll be back in the Euchre's 52 on Monday. Cincinnati to some destination. Don't know where yet, but we'll get there. So hopefully you enjoy the rest of your Friday morning, afternoon, evening, early 1st of April for some folks around the world. I have been and always shall be your host and pilot until tomorrow. Peace, live long and prosper.